Maulang hapon po sa ating lahat. Pero sana we are all safe and if you're in the office, travel safe, and if you're at home, I hope you and your family are all safe and healthy. No, so my discussion for today will cover how InfoSight. So nabanggit na po kanina Alex yung InfoSight, no, which is our AI engine or our AI infrastructure that can augment yung support at saka yung management of your HPE hardware. No? So particularly in this case, SimpliVity, and in some cases also ProLiant and storage. No? Lalo na ngayon, how it can help in the time of Covid-19. No? So we are all caught by surprise with Covid-19 and we are entering the new normal. No? So this, hopefully we can show you how, what is the value of InfoSight in these new normal times. No? So COVID-19 posed a unique challenge to everyone, especially on our side, no, sa IT, no, so sa enterprises. So with COVID-19, it became an imperative for IT to maximize assets and people, no, so leverage on what we have right now. Okay, and eventually, if we do plan to upgrade or if we do plan to acquire new, how to optimize the usage and smartly plan, no, for future acquisition. So gaano ba kalaki yung kailangan natin? Okay, so lahat yun, kailangan natin makita. Okay? And with that, unpredictable yung mga naging demand sa atin. So workload ng mga solutions in place in our data center. So we must be able to support the unpredictable demand in terms of our hardware. And of course, uptime is of utmost importance. So we have to minimize the downtime due to the hardware and any application issues. Okay? And with that, end-to-end visibility is key, not only on the server side, not only on the application side, if you're running VMware, hypervisor side, but yung end-to-end, no? So virtualization layer, you have to have visibility on the servers, network, and storage as well. But there are a lot of variables with across the entire infrastructure. No? So we have multiple points of support, especially kung multi-brand tayo. And because of that, medyo mahirap i-correlate yung mga issues encountered natin. So there might be an application slowdown, and we have to correlate everything. So we have to check everything from the virtualization layer down to the storage layer. Okay? And we have to have visibility of the basic performance and resource usage. Okay? And if there are any issues that arises across our infrastructure, so we are asked to interpret logs and graphs. And sometimes it's far too complex for us humans to solve. So hindi tayo nakakapagbasa ng logs. So we have to escalate that to support. And not only yung issues, but we have to also concern ourselves with how our infrastructure will perform. No? So, yung tinatawag nating application to data gap. So, once we issue a request to the application, ano yung latency? Ano yung acceptable latency? And if the latency becomes unacceptable, how do we pinpoint, no, yung cause of that latency? And how we can minimize that latency between the applications and the data? Okay. And more often than not, our IT becomes reactive and, well, more or less inefficient. No? So we react to unexpected problems due to the fact that we don't have that kind of visibility. We spend countless hours interpreting graphs and logs, so uploading them and sending them to support. Okay? And vendor support, no? So once you call vendor support, it adds to the frustration. Right? Because of the long turnaround time and yung multiple points of support. Okay? So the impact there to us is what we don't need right now, no? Especially in this trying time. So this huge business impact and a lot of wasted time. Okay? So what InfoSight aims to do is to simplify IT operations, to have the hardware self-manage, self-heal, and self-optimize. Okay? And it not only, previously, InfoSight is only available for storage, but now it cuts across the entire HPE solution stack. No? So InfoSight is present in storage, servers, networking, and our hyperconverged infrastructure, which is SimpliVity. So what is InfoSight? Okay, so what InfoSight does actually is to check yung or to gather telemetric data across the entire solution stack. So we do not only monitor the storage, we do not only monitor the network, the compute, and the hypervisor as single components. Okay? So we monitor everything as one solution stack. So end-to-end yung monitoring yan. And yung correlation ng performance at saka yung consumption, so consumption data na kinukuha natin from all the components of the solution stack is being correlated by InfoSight. So all of those telemetric data is uploaded to our AI platform, cloud-based AI platform, which is InfoSight, okay, where it does predictive analytics, okay. It does global correlation across all of our installations worldwide. And based dun sa data na nagagather natin doon sa across all of our installations. So we develop quick recommendations to solve issues and to prevent issues. So the impact to you is, of course, number one is yung predictive support. More often than not, our engineers will notify you if there are any pending or impending issues doon sa hardware solutions natin. Okay? We can send preemptive recommendations, okay? Proactive management, and of course, yung continuous improvements of our solutions. Okay. So InfoSight can be seen as a see once and prevent for all. No? So because of the global learning capability, not only on the storage side, but also on the servers and network side, all of the telemetric data that is gathered by InfoSight is being analyzed and is being analyzed by our InfoSight database and our analytics engine in the cloud. So once all of those are gathered, it can do correlation between the installations. So for example, you have installations. We have an installation in Cebu, and we have a similar installation in Manila. So whatever issues that may be encountered and whatever resolutions that are applied to those issues, so in Cebu can be applied to Manila, and vice versa. Okay? So ang effect niyan is mas mabilis yung root cause analysis natin at saka yung balik ni support to solve our issues is much faster. Okay? And not only that, we do not monitor the hardware in the as a single entity. So like what I've said, it monitors hosts, VMs and network latencies, interoperability issues, if there are any misconfigurations during the implementation, okay, storage-related issues, and if best practices were not implemented during the installation. Okay? And we can also do, or InfoSight can also do automatic case creation. So there's no need for manual case creation sa side ni customer or sa side nyo. So more often than not, so once InfoSight detects impending issue, it will automatically create the case. Okay. So basically, InfoSight transforms support from this. So I think lahat tayo nakaranas tayo ng ganitong methodology of how we are supported by vendors. So level 1, level 2, up to level 3, which can take anywhere from hours to days, and worst case even weeks or months. Okay? So we aim to transform the support from this to this. So there are
Wala ka, Romel. Nakamute ka, Romel. Nakamute ka, Romel.
There. Okay na? Okay na?
Okay. Nakamute ka kanina eh.
Okay. Really? From the first slide? Hindi naman.
Hindi naman. Mga last 2 slides.
Last 2 slides. Okay. Sorry. So, dito nadidinig nyo pa ako in this slide?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, like what I mentioned, na hindi nyo naman nadinig. So, InfoSight basically aims to transform support from this kind of support infrastructure or support methodology, where you have to have level 1 and then escalation to level 2 prior to escalation to level 3. So which take anywhere from hours to days, or worst case, even weeks or months. Okay, this type of support. So automated level 3 escalation tayo. So there is no more level 1 and level 2. All calls go to level 3. Okay? Primarily because the information that we need to analyze the issue and to provide recommendations was already gathered by InfoSight. And our level 3 engineers can already investigate and check yung mga logs that are uploaded to InfoSight. Okay? In that way, the root cause analysis is faster, right? Because we already have the information necessary to check and solve the issue with our level 3 engineers. And again, more often than not, our engineers or InfoSight will notify you of any issues that are encountered or will be encountered by the solution. Okay? And once you call level 3, there are no more basic interviews, and we can already tell you what the issue is, and we can already give the proper recommendations to remediate the issue. Now, if parts replacement are needed, so engineers will automatically be notified, and parts will be delivered on site for replacement. Okay. So an example of how InfoSight helped a customer. So in this customer, InfoSight detected a controller that went down unexpectedly. This is a Nimble Storage case, by the way. The impact is practically none because of the built-in redundancies and the no single point of failure architecture of Nimble Storage. So when we did the diagnostics through the telemetric data that we have, our engineers in InfoSight found a bug. So what happened was Nimble engineers created the fix and pushed it out in 24 hours. And that fix protected 40 customers, and avoided potential impact to those 40 customers. Okay. Another issue was an all paths down issue. So basically, all paths to the storage were down, rendering no communication from the hosts papunta dun sa storage. So basically, complete loss of communications from the host to the array. So InfoSight Diagnostics detected that there was a double abort issue within a fiber channel card. Okay. And what we did, or what our engineers did, was develop a workaround with that and push the fix to 87 customers, which were protected from the vulnerability. Okay. So that is support, but in terms of management, okay, so we can improve performance proactively. So for example, because of the statistics that can be seen and gathered by InfoSight, we can apply QoS, quality of service, to certain volumes and improve performance on other volumes. So kung meron tayong nagba-bottleneck or meron tayong volumes that are hogging the most resources, so we can apply QoS and limit yung IOPS, the throughput that are being used or being consumed by that specific volume. Okay? And we can also have visibility up to the VM level. So if there are any noisy neighbor VMs, meaning there are VMs that are using up the most resources, so we can recommend to move some VMs to other hosts which have more resources available. Right? And we can simplify infrastructure planning. So we can do usage trending and capacity analysis with InfoSight. So we can accurately predict when capacity will be used up. So and we can recommend not only capacity upgrades but also controller upgrades if performance will not be enough. Okay. Okay, so we go beyond the traditional monitoring, which basically creates more questions but does not provide answers. So if and when we see some latency spikes, some monitoring tools, okay, wouldn't give the information if should you be concerned with that latency spike, what is causing that latency spike, or what part of the infrastructure or the landscape is causing it. Is it the host? Is it the network? Okay, or is it the storage? And wouldn't give any recommendations. Okay, so InfoSight gives answers. So each spike is given a performance impact score. Right? So it's not enough na makita natin na meron tayong latency spike dyan. But rather, it will also give a performance impact score. So if you see a high latency, InfoSight can tell if the latency has a big impact on the host or storage performance or the landscape performance. Okay, so the impact may be high, maybe medium, maybe low. Okay, it can correlate performance factors across the entire stack. So like what I've said, we monitor end to end. So we monitor the hypervisor performance, host performance, and storage performance. And we correlate yung performance data between each component. And if there are any issues, with the hardware and any performance issues, cases will automatically be created and escalated to level 3 support. Okay. So in terms of capacity planning, okay, so InfoSight monitors how you are using your resources. Okay. So it does not only give you the figures, the capacity usage figures, but also does predictive analytics on the capacity usage. And based on, all recommendations are based on how the customers or the users have been using yung hardware natin. So for example, in this case, InfoSight can detect that your volumes need to be expanded by 10 gig per month. So based on how you are using your applications. Okay. It can detect how many additional capacity for a specific period of time would you need to accommodate more data. And if there is a need to upgrade the controllers based naman sa performance. So or how the array or the server is performing based on the current workload. Also, you have a capacity planning tool wherein you can predict if if the solution, so whether it be a server or whether it be storage, can accommodate more applications or more databases or more VMs. Okay, so we have performance simulators within InfoSight as well. Okay, so like what I've said, the visibility in InfoSight goes beyond storage, server, and network. So we have integration with VMware. We call it VM Vision, which gives visibility up to the VM layer. So with VM Vision, you can actually determine VM latency factors. So kung yung latency ba natin nanggagaling sa storage, sa host, or sa network. Okay, you can take corrective actions on noisy neighbor VMs once latency and performance factors are identified. And if there are any unused VMs or idle VMs, you can reclaim space from those underutilized virtual machines as well. So this is an example of how you can see yung latency attribution sa InfoSight. So for example, we have a latency spike here. Okay? When you hover over that latency spike, so InfoSight can give you the data kung saan yung biggest latency kung sino yung biggest latency contributor. So in this case, it was identified that it was a VDI application that is creating the greatest latency or contributing the greatest latency. And dun sa VDI solution na yan, it was also identified that the VDI host, okay, is contributing the greatest latency. Okay? So hindi lang yan sasabihin na, oops, meron tayong latency spike, so you might experience a slowdown, but rather, this latency or this amount of latency was given by the host. So you can easily investigate and identify kung ano yung mga kung ano yung mga workload na tumatakbo during that time and take corrective actions as well. Okay? And once this is escalated to support, so we can identify and give recommendations also. Okay. Excuse me for a bit. All right. So this is an independent research done by ESG, no, on the impact of HPE InfoSight. So it was determined through this independent research that with InfoSight, our customers have experienced 79% lower IT operating expenses, no, 73% fewer storage trouble. Our customers spent 85% less time, no, troubleshooting the storage, and 69% improvement in turnaround time, no, so when needing level 3 support. Okay, so basically InfoSight helps you save time and money. Okay. So in terms of benefits, InfoSight gives you AI-driven automation to help your staff drive up efficiency. Okay. Due to the AI recommendations or AI-driven management as well, so we lower the administration cost. Okay. You experience quicker response time and resolution in terms of support. Our self-improving infrastructure guarantees high levels of availability. In fact, in Primera, one of our storage solutions guarantees 100%, and Nimble Storage guarantees 6 nines level of availability. And with that, we have a very high level of customer satisfaction because of the experience and the peace of mind that we give them. So in terms of our storage solutions, just give you some brief overview of the current infrastructure, storage solutions that we have right now. First up is Nimble Storage. Okay. So basically, Nimble Storage is our multi-cloud flash fabric. It leverages on the ease of deployment and management. Performance is based on the controller, okay, and all capabilities are software controlled. No? So very independent siya doon sa type of drives and independent of RAID. No? So when it comes to performance, we only have one type of RAID actually with Nimble Storage, and that is triple plus parity, where you are protected with 3 drives simultaneous failure on the hybrid. But on the all flash, you are actually protected with 4 simultaneous drive failures, up to 4 simultaneous drive failures. So we can leverage on cloud volumes to tier data from on-premise to cloud. We guarantee 6 nines availability. Our efficient data reduction technologies with compression and deduplication ensure that you have more terabytes per dollar. No? So you experience more terabytes per dollar. In fact, we have a store more guarantee. No? So depending on dun sa application na itatakbo natin sa Nimble Storage, we can guarantee data reduction anywhere from 2 times data reduction to up to 7 times data reduction. No? So for VDI infrastructure. All licenses and capabilities are inclusive with the Nimble OS software, so you don't have to pay for anything. If you need to activate or if you need to use different capabilities like replications, snapshots, encryption, so everything is included doon sa Nimble OS licensing natin. And capacity and performance scales very simply. If you need more capacity, just add more enclosures. If you need more performance, you can simply do a controller swap, you know, through our data in place upgrade. So we don't need to break anything. We don't need to back up and restore anything. So the controller swap automatically improves the performance. Okay. So also you can leverage on Nimble DHCI. So diniscuss ni Alex at saka ni Jasper kanina yung hyperconverged infrastructure. This is very, very similar to SimpliVity, but the difference is that it disaggregates yung compute and storage. No? So, hinihiwalay niya yung compute and storage resources. No? So, that will give you the flexibility to upgrade, no, to scale independently. No? So, kung kailangan mo lang ng additional na CPU and memory, so you just add more nodes. If you just need more capacity, so you just add more enclosures to Nimble Storage. Okay, so it comes with VMware installed for faster deployment. So deployment is at maximum 1 hour. No, so if everything is properly configured and everything is properly identified, such as the IP addresses needed, so deployment can take anywhere from half an hour to 2 hours at most. Okay. It is built with HPE ProLiant and HPE Nimble Storage. Okay. And similarly with DHCI, so parang SimpliVity din siya. It lets you basically manage and provision hardware from VMware vCenter. Okay. And you have a choice to build a new stack. We call it a greenfield implementation. No, so everything is brand new. We deliver new ProLiant servers, we deliver new switches, and we deliver new Nimble storage arrays or leverage on existing ProLiant servers and switches. No, so if you already have existing ProLiants running VMware, okay, and would want to leverage or want to deploy DHCI infrastructure, so we can implement or we can deliver DHCI capable Nimble storage. Okay. HPE Primera is our enterprise storage solution. It's an all-active architecture which ensures performance and availability. In fact, in terms of availability, we guarantee 100% data availability guarantee. So there's no special contracts and no special configurations and no specific models that are covered by the 100% availability. All models of the Primera, from the entry level up to the high end or the enterprise models, are covered by this availability guarantee, so this 100% availability guarantee. It is also covered by the stormwater guarantee, wherein again, depending on the application, we can guarantee efficient data reduction anywhere from 2x up to 7x or even 10x. No? So depending on the application, especially if it's a VDI application. All-inclusive software licensing, so there's no need to purchase any additional if you want to use the capabilities, like for example, replication from site A to site B. So the replication licenses are already included, and even if you add more capacity or even if you upgrade the controller, so you don't have to pay for any upgrade license as well. Okay, so data-centric architecture is designed to abstract data from media. So all services are running independently. So even if you need to upgrade software modules, you don't have to bring down the entire Primera array. So you just need to upgrade that specific module or restart the specific module. Okay. We have deep InfoSight integration for predictive analytics and proactive support. It is NVMe and SCM ready. So if you are looking to implement those kinds of storage technologies, so HPE Primera can support that as well. It's very easy to use and manage. In fact, included with HPE Primera is the capability to do customer self-installation and customer self-updating. So if you need to upgrade firmware, so wala tayong dependency sa HPE support. Okay, so if you need to replace some components due to some issues, so customers are allowed to install the replacement components as well. It is also covered by the timeless storage refresh service. This is actually the same as the data in place upgrade with Nimble Storage, But ang difference lang niya is that, or ang concept behind the timeless storage refresh service is that you are entitled for a free controller conversion on the third year. So for example, we are at Gen 1 ng HPE Primera, and say for example 3 years lumabas yung mga bagong models. So you can opt to upgrade at no additional cost to the next generation models. Again, this is just a simple controller swap, data and trace upgrade, so you don't have to break anything. So you don't have to break anything, you don't have to back up and restore anything. And it also goes beyond the 3-year life cycle. So kung dun sa first upgrade natin, so after 3 years, you also need to upgrade after 6 years. So you can opt to upgrade. So again, at no additional cost on the next generation. So kung Gen 2 yung upgrade natin dun sa first one, and then lumabas yung Gen 3, you can upgrade your Gen 2 papunta sa Gen 3 at no additional cost. Okay? In terms of data protection, we have Store Once, okay, which is supported by your traditional ISVs like Veeam, Commvault, Veritas, and Data Protector. But if you are a little bit budget constrained, and you don't have the budget to purchase those third-party backup solutions, so both HPE Nimble and HPE Primera includes HPE Recovery Manager Central, which basically integrates snapshot collection from the Nimble and the Primera arrays and directly backs them up to HPE Store Once. Okay? And then HPE Store Once has the capability to tier on-premise backup to a tier 2 archive, which is located either on a private cloud or a public cloud, like AWS, Azure, or Google. Okay, so that's the end of my slide. Let me check if there are any questions.